Hi everyone, welcome to Casual Watch Talk on this on this Tuesday. The days are all melding into one. We are going to be doing a Seiko special. We're going to be doing a Merry SEIKO-mas. We've picked some great Seiko choices, but let us know yours in the comments section for sure. I'm sure you'll definitely have some picks that we haven't picked, and vice versa. We should have some interesting ones that perhaps you've not seen before. But before I do that, I'll just introduce my panel, joined by Seiko Todd. Hey, Todd. And Patrick from Pocket Watch Time on the YouTubes and the Instagrams as well.
Oh.
Well, Patrick, do you want to kick us off with a wristwatch check?
A wristwatch.
I have got a surprise for everyone because it was a surprise to me.
Ooh, full screen.
On my way to work yesterday, I checked my eBay lists and I checked my Chrono 24 lists for things that I want, and one of them popped up.
Wow.
And one of those crazy dealers, not only did I buy it yesterday, but put it in a box, and I already got it this morning, and it is currently on the wrist.
It's a sleeve.
Bam!
Oh, Gerard Perigo.
Oh, wow. Ceramic.
Is that white ceramic?
Yes. So this is the Gerard Perigo white ceramic Bamford Ghost.
Oh.
So you can see the little Bamford co-labeling down there at the bottom.
Yeah.
But this has been a watch on my hit list for a while, and one popped up, and the price was good enough, and I said, go for it.
Wow. What's that on the reverse of the second hand? Is it the Bamford is it a logo?
Yeah, so they've got the Bamford down there, and then they've got the Laureato down there. So, they've got the Gerard Perigo and then their little symbol that looks very much like the Bene Gesserit symbol from Dune. Oh, I got a fuzzy.
Ah, there you go.
And yeah, then it says Laureato and Bamford. Yeah, I'm a Floridian. This is the first time I've pulled this sweater out in probably 2 years because it's actually kind of chilly today.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yeah, I am. Yes, I'm also in Florida, but I'm supporting my Texas viewers wearing my Buc-ee's Christmas T-shirt, which actually I did get in Florida. There's 2 Buc-ee's in Florida, so we made the pilgrimage. And if anybody that's watching from the UK, it would probably take me an hour to explain Buc-ee's to people because they wouldn't understand why a motorway service station is so popular. But anyway, Todd, what are you wearing?
Well, in honor of Seiko Tuesday, I am been wearing this all day today. This is a JDM only, 6139, and this is the 70. I always have to look here. 7010. Yeah, I get it right. And so this is a JDM only one. It's getting a lot of reflections. My apologies. Maybe I'll put it back here. So this was only sold in Japan, in the Japanese domestic market, and these were associated a lot with the Japanese military. Now, this is not a military issue one. This is a civilian one, but there's very similar ones that were issued by the military. And so this is from I have to always look again, 1970. Yep, 1970.
Oh, it's a really cool bracelet, that, isn't it?
Oh, so you'd like this? I think so too. I like it. It's an Uncle Seiko bracelet.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, I thought it looked
Yeah.
And he made it for that watch or for a similar?
Actually, it was really made for a different watch, but it works really well with this one.
Yeah, it really looks good. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of Uncle
Larry.
Seiko.
Larry. Yeah.
I was pestering him to for my wristwatch check. I'm wearing the speed timer, but I was pestering him on email to see whether he would make a razor wire for it as well, because the razor wire, annoyingly, this is 20.71.
Yeah, it's 21. They say, right?
Yeah, it's not, because it leaves a little bit of rubbing on the leather strap that Mikola sent me over. But yeah, I was asking him to do a razor wire for this because my razor wire is 20 millimeters, so it kind of it's just a little bit short. And
yeah, I hate that gap. That bugs me when you have too much gap.
Yeah, it does for me as well. But the razor wire is just so comfortable. But yes, if you're interested in bracelets or any Seiko or the Tropic straps, then definitely go check out Uncle Seiko, and then check out Man Cave Leather for any leather.
Yeah, Man Cave down there, right? But actually, Uncle Seiko is now Uncle, I believe.
Yes, because he's
Right.
branched out, hasn't he? He's got a load of different ones now, hasn't he? He's doing Longines. He's got the speed loads for the Speedmaster. I noticed he's done some Orient ones. There's another brand as well that he's been doing as well. I forget, but yeah, he's the Black Bay 58, the Tudor.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, should we kick this off then? We've each picked around 5 of our favorite Seikos or interesting Seikos.
Right.
And we're going to go through them and then let us know what you think in the comment section down below. So I will start with, I mixed them up. I shuffled them up. So I'm not sure which is Todd's and which is Patrick's. In fact, I'm not even sure which are mine. But anyway, this one, was this one of yours? Me. Yep.
Yeah, that's me. And by the way, if anybody in the comments doesn't agree with any of this, they're banned. They're just banned. That's what we're going to do. But no, the Marine Master to me, and I don't own one of these. It's been on kind of my list a little bit. I've always kind of eyeballing it, maybe a little bit like Patrick did the GP. But at some point, I will get a Marine Master. I've had them on wrist. They are just, to me, I think they're the consummate, let's say, higher end dive watch. You can get these with, I think you can get them with spring drives too, I believe. Not entirely sure. But I mean, these are just, to me, I mean, and I'm not a Rolex fanboy, but to me, this is more appealing to me than the Submariner, let's say, for example. It's a different watch, though. It's thicker, and it's a little bit more of a tool watch than the Submariner has become. But yeah, I just dig it. The bracelets are great, actually, on these, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's everything Seiko does really, really well. And actually, I think they use the new ones actually have a Grand Seiko derived movement in it. I think it's which one is it? The 300 SLA 021J1. So, the movements are just spectacular.
Yeah, I've always loved the look of these. I think this is the first one that I realized, wow, Seiko make expensive watches. When I was first getting into watches, I knew about you learn about the Seiko SKX, and then when you're looking around on the internet, even back then, these were probably the most expensive diver at that time. I think probably about 5 or 6 years ago, 7 years ago. I think this was like the premium diver before they started making dive versions of the Grand Seiko, I think.
Right.
Cosmic Telex. And Patrick, have you ever seen one of these in the wild?
Yeah, I've seen one in the wild. I said I'm super fan of it. As I said, it pretty much is the Rolex Slayer in the Seiko handbook. If they would make a Grand Seiko or something that sort of had the slab sides and the 4 o'clock crown, I would be far more impressed than the current offerings that the Grand Seiko and other higher end Seikos sort of offer. But I mean, I said this is just an absolutely just wonderful tool watch. I mean, look at the size of that knurling on the bezel. I mean, this is a true workhorse, and it's meant to be used. And I said it's hands down. Todd's right. If you don't like it, we'll ban you from the club.
Yeah, and it's properly got a date on it as well. I mean, if they do make a spring drive version of this, I would be all over it. This is the kind of watch that I'm waiting.
Yeah, it's the 8L35B movement right now, which is based on the Grand Seiko 9S55, which I think is their high beat movement.
Yeah,
but not the spring drive.
Mark saying all the Seiko releases blur together by March. I'll have to rely on experts.
Yeah, he's right. It tends to happen, but this is one of those watches that's been around for a long time, and it's not hard to forget it, or get confused with something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, actually, this is one of mine. This is a sort of a turtle. I love this watch, and I've been trying to find one at a decent price. I've similar with you, Patrick. I've got a view on eBay and then a repeat on Chrono 24 as well, because at one time you could pick these up for like $600 or $700, and they've got really expensive now. They're up to nearly 1,200. It's a quartz Marine Master Diver 300 meters, and they do make a black version of this, which Pete has got, but it's this particular one with the hands like this, because the new ones have got hands similar to the similar to the SKX sort of hands, whereas this with the arrow hand and the minute hand that goes all the way to the edge, and it's a pretty big beast. It's got dome sapphire crystal on it. I love the I don't know if it'll let me zoom in here. I love the date. It's got the date on it as well. It just looks like a beast, and I'm here for it. If soon as I can find one that isn't completely battered, because I think with the size of it, they get bashed around quite a bit. I've seen them as low as 800, but I'm still a little bit uncomfortable with spending that much on one that's been heavily used. But it's quite a hard one to find. It might have been a Japanese domestic only one, because they're not plentiful on Chrono, or Sakura Watches obviously had them as well. Sakura is where I bought this thing, not a sponsor. But yeah, I really like this one. Have you, Todd? Have you ever owned one of these, like a turtle style, or?
Well, so I've got my turtles, but I also have a
tuna.
Sorry, yeah, no, and that's too many nicknames, right? Yeah. No, I have a tuna, a quartz tuna. It's the 150 meter one, so it's not the Marine Master. It's the, I guess, whatever you want to call it. It's the regular tuna, and that's just a fantastic watch. Everything you want, it works fine. It's it's what a dive watch to me is supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all over this. Don't know, Patrick, have you ever owned a tuna? No.
As crazy as it is, I don't think I've ever even seen a tuna in the flesh. I mean, as big of a watch as it is, I would think I would see it. I mean, I love just the sort of case within the case. I mean, I think they're really unique. I am not the biggest wristed guy, so I don't think it's ever really flown on that, I'm going to get one. But I'm shocked that I don't think I've actually ever seen or held a tuna in the hand.
Yeah,
they've definitely got some substance to them, and that's what I like.
They do, but the lug to lug isn't so bad, because I have my wrist isn't very large; it's less than 7 inches, but mine's kind of flat, so I can pull off larger watches. But that one works fine. At least the regular tuna works fine on my wrist.
Yeah, and I regret never picking up. They did a quartz one, the gold and black quartz one, and I kept putting off buying it. And they've got quite expensive now. They could be had for like $250, but I think they've gone up well over. Okay, next up, I forget whose this is. This has got to be yours, Todd, is it?
Yes. So we're ignoring Dr. Patrick for a moment here, but that's okay. We're doing the randomizer. So this is a cool story because I think I've had this on before. So here's this is from 1984.
Oh, yeah.
Always have to think opposite here. And I got to get better lights in here. But anyhow, this is what they call the Seiko Royal Oak because of obviously the Genta inspired case. And it's unclear to me if Genta actually worked with Seiko on this model or not. That he may have. But it's an integrated bracelet. And I bought this new in 1984 from a jewelry store when I had no business. I was in college, had no business doing that. And this is the famous Firewatch. So if you go to Spencer Klein's website and you look up Firewatch, it's the one that we pulled out of my house after it burned down, and it was black and missing a pusher and not working, and he brought it back to life.
Wow!
So there you go. It's an amazing. These are just. I can't say this is the world's first quartz analog chronograph.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Seiko invented this in the 80s. No one had ever done this before. Everything was LED or LCD. And so each one of these is a stepper motor. So when you start, I always have to kind of get my bearings backwards. So if you start this, there we go.
Oh, yeah, wow.
You can see, actually, it's supposed to keep going the 1/10 of a second. But I think my battery is actually running down, which is why it's stopping every other one. That's an indication. But you have the running seconds at the 6 o'clock. You've got the 1/10 of a second at the 3 o'clock, if I can hold this right. Day complication. It has 15 joules. It's all metal. And these movements will last a lifetime. And when you dial these in, you are a second a month.
Wow.
And this is 1984. 83 is when the 7S26 came out. This is the 7S36, which has the date, not just the date. And so you can kind of see it here. And then if you hit stop, you know, you get your full read. And then I got to do this right backwards. Ooh, come on, I can't push the button. What am I doing wrong? I got my buttons all messed up. There you go. Boom. Okay, I just did a split. So now it's split. You know, so anyhow, this is pretty cool. Yeah, I can, if I push the button right, I can get it to reset. But yeah, these are just remarkable watches back when you know, they were expensive too at the time. I remember I paid like $300 and something for it in 1984. But
I actually love the movement. I mean, I wish they'd put a clear case back on one of those, because that's just a beautiful movement. Isn't
it a quartz movement? It's semi-decorated, but you can see all the rubies there. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool watch. Great history. They're going up in value now. You used to be able to find them pretty dirt cheap because Seiko did sell a lot of them. But
yeah, I had a little look today, and Terry on the on our WhatsApp group, he bought one, didn't he? He bought one in great condition, but it wasn't quite that model, was it? Because his bezel was more smoother. But yeah, I had a little cheeky look on eBay today, and they are going for a one in decent price, because a lot of them have been quite bashed about. But next one, I've got to pick one of Patrick's now. Hopefully, Patrick, was this one of yours?
Yes.
Yay!
So yep. For those of you out there in the world of watches, you know that the Seiko Laurel is pretty much the first wristwatch, and kind of conveniently this year they made a re-edition of it, and you know, I think it's just pretty darn cool. And you know, I would never wear and own an original Laurel, because you know, it's just too fragile and all of that. But now actually having a modern piece where you get all the fun of the old version, and I'm sure, I didn't look at all the specs, but I'm sure they've upped the size a little bit, probably made it a 37 or a 38, where, you know, it was probably a 33 or a 34 to begin with.
Yeah, it says it's upsized from 30 millimeters to 37.5.
Yeah. And so I said, it's just a really cool piece, and you know, I think it's fun that they took such a vintage playbook, and you know, it's just really neat. The only gripe I have with it, which is a very minimal gripe, is I wish they actually made a seconds for it. So if you look there and you see the sub-seconds dial, that's actually the date. So Sam, I know you'll still like it. It's got a date.
Yay.
But they made the seconds into a date, and so it has the center seconds, which is probably a heck of a lot easier to read and use. But I kind of wish they would have put in more of a traditional movement, just to really keep it somewhat original, authentic. But gorgeous watch. I think it's great, and I would love to see one of these in the flesh.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's not my style, but I appreciate the history of it and everything. Yeah, it looks awesome. Okay, next up. Oh, actually, this is one of mine. Yay! I had to put my latest watch in, and I noticed as well, Just the Watch has joined us. Welcome. He did a great review of this as well. I've just uploaded my review as well. Shameless plug for my review. I really like it. They upped the size from 39 millimeters to this is 41.4. There's only one thing that I dislike about it, and it's not the bracelet. It's that the date is really weird. If you watch my review, the date is behind the solar panels. So unless you look inside on it, it looks like it's down the bottom of a well. I joke that it looks like it. I was joking with somebody today saying it looks like it's in another dimension of the multiverse, the date, because it's really tucked behind there. But other than that, at least the date is there. So it's ticking a box for me. But I really like it. It wears well. The bracelet, I added the extra clasp on from Uncle Seiko. Made an extra clasp with an extra adjustment hole on there as well. So thanks to Larry for doing that. But yeah, I think this is a worthy upgrade to the previous one, and they've still kept the previous one going. They've not replaced it, and I think that's good, because then depending on which one suits your wrist, I mean, they're both great. So if you like the smaller size, or if you prefer the bigger size, then yeah, they've done an excellent job of this. And this gray and black bezel is like a stroke of genius.
Yeah,
I don't know who thought of that color combination, but the way they've done it is, because this is it's a throwback, isn't it? Doing this, the tachymeter, Todd. Isn't there another Seiko? Some of the vintage, the Pogue has this, doesn't it? Like with a a section that's a different color?
Yeah, so we'll get to it here, but yeah, I'll show the Pogue, which does have the tachymeter scale. It's done, obviously a little different. I love this one that you pulled out too, and maybe that's because it looks a lot like the Zenith Chronosport.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
I really love that black, white kind of ceramic looking bezel. Yeah, I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah. So James Duffy's saying a grey bezel is going to be the new hotness. I hope so, because I'm here for it if they are. I'm sign me up, because I couldn't work out whether that quarter section, I don't think it has any functional purpose. I think it's just for show, but it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's like anyway. So next up we have, whose is this one? This one's got to be yours, Todd, is it?
Yeah. So
Wow.
I tried to do, it's a good article on it. It's not a great picture. But I have one of those too. This is maybe mine will show up better, but it's a rally sport. They call this the rally sport timer, the eyeless rally, because there's no subdials. It's entirely just a single, your center sweep. Again, when I get a better camera in here, it'll be much better to do this. But it has the date too. It's being covered by a hand at the moment. But this was at one point the world's thinnest automatic chronograph when it came out. It was about that way for 10 years. Yeah, it's only like 4-point-something millimeters. But part of that is because there's no subdials, so you don't have to worry about it. But it is a true flyback. So if I try to do this and you can see the sweep go, and then let go, and there it goes. So it's designed specifically for rally timing. It has this center. You can see I'm spinning this disc, which doesn't show up very well, but you can do time distance calculations on this very quickly, assuming you have eyesight like an eagle. And so it was made for rally racing and for time distance rally. It's a really neat. It's a great look. I don't use it for its intended purpose, but it's the opposite. So most of the Pogue was by the Seiko factory. Seiko Suwa factory. This was their competition in Seiko internally. This is the Daimi factory. So they came up with different architectures. The architectures between those chronographs within the Seiko umbrella are not at all related. They're very different from each other.
If somebody's watching now and just loves the look of this, what do you think's a fair price to pay for a decent one?
Decent one. They've kind of come down a little bit. I think if you get one, the trick is generally when you get these things, you're going to have them serviced. So one that's original and serviceable, $800. Plan to put maybe another $300 to $400 into it for a good service, a correct service. Roughly, you might get away with less than that, but it just depends on just how the quality of it. And the one I just showed you is an early one, a proof version, and it sat in somebody's drawer. I got it through an estate sale. It sat in somebody's drawer for a long time. So the colors, nothing's faded. The loom is perfect. So those will cost more than that. But yeah, you can get around there. Let's say 1,000-ish.
Okay, awesome.
No.
Next up is this. Hopefully, this is one of yours, Patrick. Is it?
Oh,
yes, it is.
Hey,
so
bravo.
I mean, you can't go wrong with the first Astron, and as I said, I'm just a limited edition guy, and there's debate whether they made 100 or if they made 200, and I've seen many an article that argues the point. But this was the first Astron made in pretty much 1969. It's an 18-karat gold Japan-only watch, and they made a reissue which is tragically so much uglier than the original. And I hate it. I mean, the new one's got this really big rehot, and it doesn't have the class and character of the original. So this is another one that's on my, oh boy, maybe someday it'll pop up on my radar list, but these are very rare because, they're beautiful, they're classy, not very many of them, and as I said, it's just a very unique watch.
So I've got an Astron on my list, but it's one of the new ones. And I thought not knowing the history of it, I thought the Astron denoted the fact that it was GPS. It set its time off GPS, but I didn't realize it went right back. So what does the where did the Astron come from? Why was it different than normal quartz, or is it? Or is
Well,
it just...
Astron was the first quartz, so
Oh, right.
that was their term for making it a quartz.
Mhm.
They sort of then delineated it later to being, as you said, the GPS version, and the new reissue Astron is a GPS. And so, that's just I guess they just changed their marketing somewhere. I'm not exactly sure what age or year that was when they did that, but yeah, the first Astrons was the first quartz.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And these were super expensive when they came out. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I've got actually, I'm going to do a state of the watch collection. It's not a Seiko, but I've got my granddad's original Casio watch from the
Mhm.
70s. This was an LCD, and I remember these were expensive at the time. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, James Duffy's actually asking. I wonder what a service would be like for one of these, but I guess you would have to cannibalize one. I can't imagine that there's parts. I guess you'd have to find one that
Mm.
was. Oh yeah, somebody said the price is astronomical.
Astronomical, yeah. Astronomical. Very good. Yeah, there's some guy on one of my Seiko boards. He's got 4 versions of these.
Ooh.
And you're right, they're 18 karat gold. He's got a GS one. Not all of them are quartz though, but they're a similar style. But I think it's just amazing. I said, where do you get these things? And they all work. They all work. So somehow, he's got them working.
Well, next up, this is one of mine. This is
Mm.
I don't know why I haven't pulled the trigger on this before, but this is my favorite quartz Grand Seiko that they've made. I think it's because it doesn't have loom on the hands, to be honest. But it's a titanium, very light. But I just love the blue on this. I tried to find it on the website because in real life the blue is just up. Oh, it has got loom on the hands, but in real life this blue is just absolutely stunning. And these prices have gone up a little bit as well. And I don't know why I've never pulled the trigger on it, but I think this is if my arm was twisted and it was like you had to buy a Grand Seiko now, it would be this one probably, the 9F quartz. Agent at Bark and Jack did an amazing, really in-depth video on the 9F quartz probably 18 months ago. I did an amazing job of it and talked about just why it's so good. But yeah, this is one of my favorite Grand Seikos. This quartz version. I don't know. Patrick, do you own any quartz Grand Seikos?
I don't own.
Just
I
to
don't
think
think
about
so,
it.
or at least I don't have a Grand Seiko quartz because I'm considering it, but I don't know. I think I have to ask Todd a question first.
Mm.
Is this choice even allowed? I thought this was a Seiko show.
Well, I violated that a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know if the whole Seiko family was invited. I would have chosen maybe some other choices, but
Oh well, you can if we've got time at the end, you can fire them up. Yeah, I was saying the whole family. Yeah, you could have gone Crador as well. Maybe I wasn't clear on the rules.
Or what if it's
okay.
dual branded like the older Grand Seikos, right? They're both Seiko.
Well, I guess if you guys both cheated and threw some Grand Seiko in there, it'll be allowed. But yeah, as I said, I don't own any Grand Seiko quartzes. I think my favorite is the something 341, which is kind of a sporty looking. It's got dual loom and a white dial. It's just really kind of a neat one. But I like this one because this is one of Grand Seiko's very rare appearances of a ceramic bezel, which they do not do. So as I said, it's definitely a unique piece.
Yeah, what's the one that you bought recently? What's the
That's
blue
the
pearl?
SPGY 009.
Okay.
That was the one that you were giving some love to on the Christmas show that I
Yes.
couldn't be a part of due to work.
Yes, that's a beautiful watch. Yeah, all of them are fantastic. I don't own a modern GS. I want to eventually. I have a 1972 Grand Seiko.
Yeah.
White dial.
Awesome. Well, let's move on to the next one, and this one is it's got to be one of yours, Todd.
So yes, and so I have. Here it is. I briefly showed it before. Now the unique thing, and it's all about just being persistent and a little fortunate and knowing the right people, is that this is an actual. Again, I apologize for the reflections. This This is what they call a true pogue. This is this is the exact same model the Colonel wore in space. So this is, again, part of the argument of who made the world's first automatic chronograph. I think we've seen the paperwork. I think really Seiko 6139 really, depends on how you measure it, but I think really it was. But it was only released in Japan at the time, so it wasn't really well known. But this is where you can see the second hand moving, the sweep second. That's where it says resist 70 meters. So this is the same model. It's a 6005, and this is about it's September 1971, which is the same month and year that the Colonel's was. And in fact, this is about 2,000, according to the serial number, about 2,000 away from the Colonel's. So finding one like this, it's been restored. It has a little bit of an issue around 9 o'clock. You can see there's a little bit of dial degradation there, but this happens with these gold dials. But I had one of my expert restoration guys do it. Anyhow, yeah, this is like this started the mania, this cushion case watch, which is still, the colors, the gold dials are very 70s. The blue dials are more contemporary, you could argue. But yeah, this is the one that, the Colonel brought into space, though we know now that it wasn't the only automatic chronograph in space. It actually shares that designation with Movado. Because is it Grissom? I'm trying to remember. Grissom, the leader of Skylab 3, he pirated in a Movado. So there was an automatic Movado, which I guess would have been the El Primero movement, I believe, because the Movado and Zenith worked together. That's why the El Primero Movados are very collectible.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that about the Movados.
Only a couple years ago, this actually came out.
Oh well,
yeah.
Because then, of course, there was the Bolivar, wasn't there? Which was the Bolivar.
Yeah. You mean like my little clock here, my Accutron? Yeah, the Bolivar Accutrons have been in capsules and stuff like that too, and on the wrists of test pilots and such. But this is not considered automatic. This is electronic.
Yeah, no, but there was that one. There wasn't the Bolivar automatic that they reissued as quartz recently, the Luna.
Oh, yeah. So that one actually went to the moon.
Yeah.
Yes, that one was the other moon watch. You're right, the original. And those are very tough to find.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Next up, is this one of mine? Oh, this is one of mine. Yeah. I really like this modern Astron.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't normally like them because I didn't like the hands on the previous one. They looked like sort of melted ice cream cones or something. They looked really weird, but I really like these. The only thing is I think I would have to see one in person. And the other thing as well that has stopped me from pulling the trigger on it is it looks a little bit like a Casio Edifice sort of layout, but that's why I think I really need to see it in person because I'm intrigued by it. I'm also interested in seeing the integrated bracelet, but I've just got a real thing for. I think have all of mine been quartz? I think all of mine have been quartz, my Seiko ones, because I've had debatable luck with mid-range mechanical Seiko watches going wrong or whatever. So I really am drawn to a lot of Seiko quartz watches until I can afford to get a Grand Seiko or something with the 8L35 movement in, of course. But yeah, this one really appeals to me, but
it's not cheap.
No, no, they're not. And the thing is, as well as a lot of Seikos, they really come down in price. Like this one that I'm wearing is, 700 retail, but I think you can, I didn't pay that for this. I paid, it's closer to 500. I think even on eBay now. But yeah, so, but these, you don't find them for a deal really. Because I have been looking around for them.
Yeah. How big is that?
They are, yeah, they're big. I don't know if it's got. This is the thing with Seiko's website, isn't it? It's not brilliant. So it's 42.7.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
No.
Yeah, it looks 48.
48 lug to lug though. That's not too bad though.
Yeah,
no, that's not too bad.
But
good looking watch.
As Jack says, he goes, when a subdial has a subdial. But actually, I love that little 24-hour subdial. That's actually my favorite part of the whole watch.
Yeah, I really like it as well. Yeah, it would be cool if, I mean, this has got a 24-hour subdial on it. Useless, but it'd be good if if you could set it independently and have it as different time zones. It would. I don't know why they don't do that on this watch, but probably because it would have to have a lot of extra crown positions, probably, or an extra button. But yes, so this is mine, a Seiko Astron. I probably will own one day, to be fair. So next up, we're going to run out of picks here. So guys, you better let us know in the comment section. This is another one of mine. Sorry, I've shuffled it up, so it's all about me tonight. I think somebody mentioned this on a live stream, but ever since then I've been obsessed with this watch. It's an Astron again, but it's got a white ceramic case, and I think it looks awesome. The only thing with it is that they are quite expensive. They're in the $2,800 mark, but they were a Japanese only collaboration with Honda E, and I think it just looks fantastic. But I'm not sure whether I could pull off a white ceramic case. But now I've seen Patrick with his GP. I think you're setting the trend. You're setting the trend there.
Trendsetter. But no, I love that layout. As I said, obviously this watch has maybe a little too much white, but that one has just enough of a hint that you could get away with it anywhere. And I just love that muted out black dial with just the white pops in it. Yeah. I'm on the let's get Sam that watch club. So let's push him forward.
Yeah, exactly. So I just don't know whether it's one of those ones where I'd like to see it in person. But I also love this Honda car that they made. It's not coming to the US, so we'll never get a chance to buy this little Honda E car. But I really love the look of it. It looks sort of 70s vintage. I mean, I'm a huge Mini fan, and it looks a little bit like the original Mini Clubman in its layout. But a huge fan of this. But yeah, that little electrics, unfortunately, is not coming to the to the US anytime soon or at all. Next up here is one of yours, Todd.
So yeah, I brought this up on the Christmas show, but it deserves to have an encore performance.
Yes.
And this constant force tourbillon is just a marvel. It's skeletonized too. So it's also Grand Seiko's, I think, first skeletonized movement. But it was designed that way from the beginning, because I'm with Pete McConville in that I'm not a fan of skeletonized watches so much. But this is perfectly done to be that. And it uses that very highly advanced, difficult to pull off constant force mechanism, which allows it to, so when you fully wind a mainspring, you have, and because it's a spring, it's not linear. You don't have linear power delivery. I think it's with the square of the length or something like that. So anyhow, when you first wind it up and when it almost runs out of power is where you have most of your inaccuracies of watches. Well, this constant force mechanism goes between I believe it's between the escapement that keeps the force constant, even if there's not much energy left in the spring, and it allows us to be exceptionally accurate. In addition to being a tourbillon, and it's just I know this took a lot of the I won't say accolades during its release, but it's still to me just amazing piece of engineering. It's only $350,000.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I know both Ricky and Dave from Scottish Watches have seen this, and Ricky sent me a picture of this, and they said it was amazing in person. I've only just noticed this. Does this look like it's all kind of warped out, or is that supposed to be like the design of it?
I don't know. Now that you mention it,
around the tip, yeah. For some reason, I just noticed it on here. Yeah, it looks especially pronounced on there.
Huh. I mean, my guess is it's probably just refraction or something from the crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be.
But you're right. I definitely never really paid attention to that before.
Yeah, it must be. It must have a very domed sapphire crystal. Oh, actually, you can see the warping there, can't you, on constant force tourbillon?
Yeah.
So yeah, it just looks like it's just throwing off the beautiful design of the teeth there, even on the close up.
Right.
But yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, don't.
No. But like, if you can zoom in on the case on the lugs, I have a really big, like zoomed in picture in front of me now. Like the lugs appear to be like right in like that channel that's going on the lugs that I think is open. It's just the case design is just something like I've never seen before.
Yeah, the case design almost has like a code 1159 sort of cutout to it. And, Grand Seiko is not known for making, 3D cases with depth and stuff like that. So I definitely, they made a very unique watch and they added a very unique case to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just lovely.
So these last two have got to be yours, Patrick. Otherwise, we're doing you an
Yay, Patrick.
Is this one yours?
Woo woo. Yep, but there's
Oh, there you go.
So, but that's the one. And coincidentally, somehow I found this watch this year. So So that was a recent pick of mine about 3-4 months ago when I found one finally. But this is a little mini grail of mine because it's the first Grand Seiko spring drive, and the thing that I don't think anybody even knows about is no one even knows this watch exists. And I made a video on it, and it's probably one of my least performing videos ever because no one's searching for the SBWA001, but there it is. And I think it has absolutely the coolest integrated bracelet design that they've never used anywhere else. This just in your face, big screws holding on, and it's just so unique.
It looks like the Terminator's spinal column.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's so interesting about it is, I guess, just due to its age, it's like a 37 and a half, maybe barely touching 38 millimeter watch. So it's small and it's really thin. I mean, I don't remember what the exact thinness is, but it's 10 millimeters or so. I mean, it's amazingly thin, which is odd because Grand Seiko doesn't usually until recently make thin watches. So how Seiko pulled it off with a spring drive in 1999 is just revolutionary. And then they just kind of dropped it, and it never came back in any iteration that looked anything like this. And it's a Japan only model, 500 of them, and I only know a handful of watch dorks who own one, and this year I'm lucky enough to have joined the club.
That's amazing. Is that stainless? Is it stainless?
Yeah.
So I wonder if Moser got some of his inspiration from this, because it looks to me almost a little Moser-esque in terms of the way the integrated bracelet works. Just my own little opinion there. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and what's really kind of interesting about it, someone reached out to me who works at an auction house because he bought the watch several years ago, but it was sized for a smaller wrist, probably because it's from Japan, and it didn't come with any extra links. And so for a couple years, he hasn't been able to wear the watch because he didn't have links for it. And so he emailed me and he's like, I see you just got this. He's like, do you have extra links? And so I sent him a link, and he took a picture, and he can finally wear the watch that he's owned for years. And I'm just like, he's like, what can I give you for it? I'm like, nothing. I mean, like, you're talking about like my worst nightmare in the world, having a watch that I couldn't wear.
Yeah.
And I'm not selling it, I'm not reselling it, so like having one link less means nothing to me. So, I said helping out somebody in the community so he can own and wear his watch.
Wow. Awesome. And then is this one of yours, Patrick?
It is. So
this is the sorry, you're going to tell the story, but this is the unknown spring drive, isn't it?
I don't know about the unknown spring drive. It's just this is the antithesis to your oh man, I'm losing my word, but a Marine Master. It's the Land Master.
Yep.
And I just love the somewhat bullish crown and just this big, chunky, beautiful watch. They made a version of this called like the Space View, and it's really the same watch.
Space, one of these. Yeah.
What's that?
Why. Yeah, it went to space, one of these bullheads.
Yeah, and the Space View, for whatever reason, sells for ridiculous money.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking 20, 30, 40 grand money.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, and I
Mhm.
don't get it. So, I don't think there's really even a mechanical difference. It's just one's called the Space View and one's called the Landmaster.
Mhm.
And, I just think it's great. It's got that nice little subtle GMT hand that you can kind of see around the Seiko. And, it's got a spring drive. And, you know, I love the placement of the spring drive. I wish they would make more bullhead Grand Seikos where the spring drive is in the right side, right next to the date like that. I just think it flows so nicely. So it's really nice.
Yeah, the reason why I said unknown spring drive is because for a long time I honestly don't think people knew about this watch because this was the cheapest way to get into a spring drive because I think they might have retailed for 3,000, but you could get them for like less, and it had like a spring
Mhm.
drive movement in, and I don't think a lot of people knew about it, to be honest, because it's been out
Yeah.
quite a while, this hasn't it?
Oh, it's been out for a super long time. It's had a
Yeah.
couple variations that just sort of look the same, but and I a long time ago I remember why one was better than the other, but I don't remember now. But in general, as I said, you're right. I've never seen one in a store. I've never, I'm not sure exactly where you find them besides on the internet, but you're right. They're relatively inexpensive for what they are, and
Mhm.
except for that space view. Oof.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let's take a couple of people suggesting some of their own ones in the comments. So let's take a look at them. So we've got Jordan who's saying nobody really talks about the Seiko 5 Sport green Arabic dial. I love
Mm.
mine. Well, let's change that on our small YouTube channel.
I'm gonna say
Find
I think
it.
I commented on there that green is always a winner, but I probably don't know it off the top of my head,
Mm.
but Arabic dials are kind of fun every once in a while. I know Grand Seiko I think makes one watch that has an Arabic dial, and you're like, that's just so cool.
Oh.
Yeah. So okay,
Oh yeah.
Arabic numeric dial. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's
So this,
interesting.
yeah. So actually, it looks quite flat, but it looks very shiny there with the gold hands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one render looks nothing like the real deal.
Yeah, that's Seiko though, isn't it? They can't take a decent picture of their own watches to save their life.
It's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
I like that a lot. I like that green with those real Arabics, I guess, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So
And
there you go,
the
Jordan.
green and gold I
Somebody
think is
talked
great.
about we talked about it. We corrected the wrong. But and then Mark saying the Ginza SPB 259. So let's have a look at that one. So um,
Mm.
let's have a look at this one if we can find it. Okay, let's have a look. Is it this one? Oh yeah, okay.
Oh yeah. That
Yeah,
is
with that,
cool.
yeah, with the very
Mm.
sort of, yeah, I'd love to see that dial actually.
Hmm. You'd have to see that in the flesh to really, I think, understand it.
Yeah, like I like it in that picture, but I have a feeling I don't think I would like it as much in person.
Mm.
I think it might overwhelm me in time, where it's too geometric.
Mm.
So I don't know. I'm giving that a solid maybe.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
think the
so
color's great.
Yeah.
yeah,
Totally.
what movement is it got in there? So it's got the 6R35 in there.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Good choice.
Because I know Grand Seiko made a dial similar that they called like their dedication to Paris or France, and it was based on like paved sidewalks, and it was all black though. It was really boring, but I saw it in the store and I was just like, I don't get it.
Mm.
Yeah, and then we've got James is saying, sorry, James, I'll put your comment up in a second. I've got to type in this number, but this will be one. No doubt Patrick likes. So this is a Creedor. This is the GBB
Anything by Creedor is going to be
980. Oh,
awesome.
that's a bad boy. Okay, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this one.
It sounds like it's going to
See
be
if
a pink
this is it.
gold. So interesting.
Oh no, that's not it. That's
Ooh.
malware.
Oh,
My I don't know whether I've got malware or something on my Google, but every time I click into it, it brings up. So is this it? The GBE 980?
Yeah, it looks like it.
hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice, nice sort of I don't have caffeine today. I'm forgetting all my words, but what do you call it where they put the crosshairs on a dial?
Yeah. I thought it was a crosshair dial.
Oh, well,
If it's a
sector.
sector dial, you're right. Center
Yeah,
sector. Sorry, yeah.
so yeah, it kind of has a sector dial to it that I like, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, like I said, it looks like it's from the Node range, which is sort of a classy sport model of theirs, and that dial obviously is gorgeous. I own no gold watches, maybe someday, but you're right, James. That's a good looking gold watch.
It is.
And then we've got another one in here. I feel like I know this one, but I don't know all the Seiko. Oh yeah. Yeah, here we go. So this is our friend Pepe D's Nuts, which obviously being very festive with your Christmas nuts there. Let me pull up this one. This is the
Okay.
Prospect LX, isn't it?
Wow, that's a price.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a price. It's a pretty cool watch, though. I mean, it's all blacked out and definitely
ceramic or...
smooth.
Is it? Yeah, it looks like an all ceramic case.
Titanium,
Oh.
super hard coated titanium.
What's the movement? Is that
It's
GS
spring drive.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has to be a GS movement. Okay. All blacked out. Not my cup of tea. I don't prefer, blacked out watches, but it's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I like the crown on it. So a lot of the times
Yeah.
they do the sort of the small, dainty 4 o'clock crowns, but I like that one's got this just really big knurling on it. It looks tough.
I'm going to try and find these in real time. I don't know whether they'll actually be. Oh yeah, they're bringing out a lot of these crazy Seiko 5s, aren't they? I think they're not something that I would buy, but I'm definitely here for it. I'm glad that they're experimenting. And they've even got that old like build your own watch, haven't they? I thought I was going to find this one, but I'm going to have to type it in. I think because Jack's saying the Rowan Blazers. So let me see if I can find those ones. I know which ones you mean. I thought I was going to find them on the site.
So is that showing that Seiko is allowing you to mod their own Seikos from Seiko in a way?
Yes. Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's like a because what's the name? Tudor sort of had something silly on there, didn't they? Where it looked like you were designing your own watch, but you weren't really. But yeah, you can actually pick the bezel and the dial and stuff like that for Seiko 5. Yeah. So these are the new Rowing Blazers ones, but they actually this is the second release of them, isn't it? That because they had one last year, didn't they? Which had more. They had the bezel, didn't they? They had different bezels on them, where these are the bezelless Seiko 5. But they sold out all on the site.
Yeah, they seem to be really popular. One popped up on an auction site, and I just threw a low bid on it, but it went for decent money, so I didn't get it. But they're pretty cool.
All right. Well, as the lamest guy in the room, let me ask: what is Rowing Blazers?
It's a fashion brand. Yeah.
Oh, it's a fashion thing. Okay.
Well, they actually do stuff for rowing. They actually, they're a fashion brand. You're right, but John P talks about it, like the real John P, Federico's partner. He has one. He has a Rowing Blazers one, and he talks about where it comes from. And there's some of it right there.
Okay. I was gonna say, as a boring guy in a gray shirt and a gray hoodie.
They look like rugby blazers, don't they? They look like rugby shirts as well, like old school rugby shirts.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go.
Cool.
We denied you a Grand Seiko pick, Patrick. Do you want to throw one up in the last few minutes?
Oh, I'm trying to think of. I mean, I wish I knew its number, but definitely, if you type in Grand Seiko green blue loom quartz, let's see if something shows up. Because I feel like it's 341, but I don't know what the letters are.
Okay.
And I'll see if I can.
Let's have a look if we can find it on the images. Is it one of? Is it one of these?
No.
This one.
It's got. Oh, actually, the one the Hodinky one right in the top left. That might be it, but as a loom shot. So let's see what that looks like. That looks. Oh, it's
Yeah.
not it, but it's very, very similar. It's the same case shape, but it's that one, but with a white dial. So
Yeah, I know exactly which one you mean.
So
yeah.
so it probably is a 341. So I guess it's the SBGX 341, and I guess the 343 is the black variant. And the black variant's gorgeous too, but it's just something about the white that they put sort of a differential red and blue on there, and I just think that watch. I mean, for $3,700, and you can definitely find it cheaper on Chrono. I've tried to sort of see if I could find one for a really, really cheap price, but I mean that's a great everyday, almost, for a word that's overused too much, tool watch, but it's just an everyday work watch that you don't have to baby, and I would love it.
Yep. Pepe's coming in with another SBGA for SPGA 429. Oh yeah, actually, this is an awesome one. Yeah, this is one that I really like the look of as well. So let me flash it up. This one.
Oh,
yeah, this is
Mhm.
beautiful with that. This I've seen this in person, and it's just a great color combination.
Yeah, I think this was one that they were sort of saying was inspired by bamboo, and so it's got the linear sort of trunk, and then that really, really neat blue or really neat green hand. But you're right, that green hand pops like nobody's business in real life, and
Yeah.
there just isn't a watch out there that has a similar green hand, so it really is nice.
Yeah, I wonder. We're doing a bit of watch shopping now, but I wonder what they're coming in on Chrono as. Yeah, so they've come up a little bit. I remember that they were sort of, I suppose on the, you'd have to get it on the bracelet though, wouldn't you? You'd have to go up a little bit more. But yeah, Spring Drive. Let me show me all the others as well. Yeah,
very nice.
awesome. Okay, well, that was awesome. Thanks everyone for throwing up your picks. Merry Christmas and Merry SEIKO-mas. Happy holidays as well.
Yeah, how come none of us picked the 62 MAS? I mean, wouldn't that have been appropriate for Christmas?
Oh yes, of course. And
Yeah,
none
we should have
of
done
us
that.
had actual proper tuner either, did we? Never did the original, or none of us did the Seiko Arnie either. The
Right.
icons or the Gigaro designed Ripley watch we didn't do
Ripley.
earlier. Yeah, this would have been like a 3-hour show, which we are doing the 3-hour show on the 27th of December. So join us for a Christmas special. We're doing it in collaboration with the Tea and Tickers team. I'll be doing the time slot, which I think we were sorting out today, and I'll send out an invite to everyone. But my time slot is going to be 12 p.m. till 3 p.m. Eastern. And then I might come. Then somebody else is going to do 3 till around 6, and I might go on in the evening as well. So it might be a 6-hour show, it might be a 9-hour show, or it might be longer. So I'll send out invites for my link, and it'll be start on Tea and Tickers. Then I'll be doing it, and then another channel, and then we'll just continue on as till people stop watching. Brilliant. Well, thanks everyone. Have a good Christmas and holidays. If we don't speak to you before, which we won't do because we probably won't do a Sunday show because it's Christmas, but we will see you next Tuesday and the Sunday after. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye everybody.